Hello, dear colleagues. Let me introduce your research on digital humanities in the concept of training specialists in information, library, and archival science, which was conducted with my co-authors, Maria Komova, Inna Penchuk, and Dmytro Tarasov. The article aims to study the evolution of training specialists in the information, library, and archival science specialty ILAS toward digital humanities at the Lviv Polytechnic. To realize this goal, it is necessary to perform the following tasks: to establish the main direction of scientific research on development trends and organization of educational work in the ILAS specialty, to establish the evolution stages of training content in the ILAS specialty from a culture-centric interpretation to the concept of education toward digital humanities and Lviv Polytechnic. To determine conceptual changes in the training content in ILAS specialty in terms of program competencies and learning outcomes, as well as educational courses derived from them, and practical training. The object of the research is the training content defined in the educational programs, documentation science and information activity, information library and archival science, and social communication and information activity for the first bachelor's level of higher education of Lviv Polytechnic National University. In the structure of higher education in Ukraine, the direction of training, documentation, and information activity of the subject area culture appears in the late 1990s. New in the educational space, it is an organic component of the subject area of digital humanities. However, the cultural-centric concept of its development has retained its position in the scientific and educational work of universities for a long time. The growing importance of information in the economy and social life determines the need for specialists in the profile. The processes of collecting, processing, and storing information, both as traditional paper documents and in electronic forms, creating banks and databases within a unified information system, management consulting, become the technological basis for the formation of an independent field of activity that requires special training. The Lviv Polytechnic National University became one of the first institutions of higher education in Ukraine where the training of specialists in documentation science and information activity has begun. In 2004, scientific community developed a recommended list of compulsory courses. Analysis of this list makes it possible to note the following trends: inclusion of the cycle of humanitarian and socio-economic training of courses that form the basic educational level of students. They also appear in the modern educational programs. For example, history of Ukraine, philosophy, Ukrainian language of professional orientation, legal studies, and others. The wide inclusion of professional courses of the traditional humanitarian direction, like document studies, clerical management, analytical and synthetic information processing. Wide inclusion of information and computer courses, like applied software, internet technologies and resources, computer networks and telecommunications. Almost absence of courses in the sphere of communication, except for the course ethics and psychology of business communication. Application of a hybrid interpretation of traditional humanitarian courses. For example, electronic document management, information management, marketing of information products and services. And at last, the high level of non-profile courses. For example, 16 courses out of 51 included in the list, which shows the interpretation of the specialty as a field that requires a high level of knowledge universality, with the disciplines like religious studies, psychology, sociology, economic theory, and others. The training content was formed by two main closely related components: Documentary activity, which studied the documents as a source of information. Information activity, which studied information technologies and computer equipment, information services, internet technologies, information systems, and databases. Despite the high number of entrants to study, there were difficulties in the training of specialists towards SIA. For example, the lack of industry standards of higher education in the specialty, a weak of coordination of education activity between graduate departments of domestic and foreign university, and insufficient organizational support for the forming or scientific schools and educational concept for the training of specialists because of the lack of specialized department at the Lviv Polytechnic. For example, training was conducted on the basis of the Department of History, Theory, and Practice of Culture. In 2011, Lviv Polytechnic established the specialized graduate department of social communication and information activities. From this time to 2018, the actualization of the training content towards SIA was the core of the organization of the educational process. The new concept of specialty was education and practice toward digital humanities. Thus, implementing this concept, SKIA department introduced 45 new academic courses. It's about 64 persons. Updated 25 transitional courses like design of databases, applied computer technologies, technologies of competitive information intelligence, and other. It is significant that the SKIA department offers students to study mostly new courses in the elective blocks, especially in the library and archive affairs block. Among them are the following courses: marketing of information products and services, web design, development of specialized sites, organization of a peer campaign, modeling of social information exchange, library management and archival institutions. A significant step toward improving the quality of education is the adoption of higher education standards in the ILS specialty. The structure of competencies reproduced a generalized, simplified image of the content of training under the educational program Social Communication and Information Activity. The structuring of competencies attests to a harmonious and multi-phased direction and optimal ratio of courses. Under the specific of the Social Communication and Information Activity educational program, changes have been made to the curriculum for the courses of general and professional training. The renewal rate of courses in the elective block devoted to library and archival works is almost 60%. The focus of educational work on the study of digital technologies ensures significant progress in the training of specialists in the ILS specialty at the Lviv Polytechnic National University. Let me conclude that the training of the modern specialist in digital humanity is determined by objective processes of fundamental modernization of the activities of institutions in the document and information sphere. The training of ILS specialists at the Lviv Polytechnic National University is adapted to the modern needs of the formation of a new generation of personnel in the subject area of information activity, promotes the penetration of digital technology into the management, social, economic, and humanitarian sphere of society, strengthens the Ukrainian information market. The training of highly qualified specialists of the bachelor's level in the specialty of ILS has undergone a long evolutionary path from a culture-centric interpretation of the training content to a hybrid content of education and practice toward digital humanities. which is based on the requirements of national standards of Ukraine. Modernization of the training of specialists allows to update the training content, synchronize it with the development of modern digital technologies, improving the quality of training and competitiveness of young specialists, and bringing the content and quality of the education closer to the global standard. Thank you very much for your attention.